John, you've said kind of throughout this little run of of losses that you've been happy with the effort coming out of the Columbus game earlier this week. Does that still hold? Do you still stay happy with the effort of the team?
Yeah, I think it took us a little while to get there. I thought we were a little sleepy when the game started, but I thought we put in some time. Made some mistakes, but as far as the attitude and the effort, I thought once we got there, I thought we were at a good pace.
You've used the word tentative in the past to describe some of the starts. I guess, what is at the root of that tentativeness, and how do you kind of attack it and address it?
Yeah, just that, trying to get away from it. I think when you, like tonight for us, I think it's so important that we have some swagger. Everybody looks at it, Boston's the best team in the league right now versus a team that's struggling a little bit, had a couple of tough years prior to this, and I think we need to always work on our swagger and our attitude as far as playing games. And that's what I like about our team. I think for the most part this year we have stayed with that. Tonight's a good test to see how we start a game. I don't think we can go out there and watch. I think we need to try to dictate, and that's swagger.
With so many young guys, how do you give them the confidence to go out there with swagger when they're playing often so many more experienced?
I can't give it to them. I don't have it in my pockets or anything like that. I think it's just it's something we'll talk about before we go out. It's something that and it's kind of a goal of ours as an organization, at least the coaching staff, is to have that. And it's easy to have it when you're winning. It's when you have some struggles. Are you backed off a little bit? And so that it comes in conversation. It comes in showing tape. It comes in looking at really good things, but when there's some confident play, I think that's how you build that. We're not. It's not instinctive to us right now, not even close. But that's the kind of end goal as far as how we're trying to go about this.
You said that you don't always look at the record or if it turns out in win and loss, looking at progress, but how important can getting that win be to give them a little bit more swagger?
Yeah, everybody wants to win. The players always feel better, always feel more confident, carry themselves better the following days after a win. I mean, that's just the way it is. But yeah, you don't want to lose your belief, and what we're trying to do when you have some struggles. And yeah, so that's a big part of our job. I think we need to be a real simple hockey team here tonight. Saying simple, but also be ourselves. I like some of the personality that we have within our club. I think we have showed that this year in trying to grow into what people will say about that team coming into your building. That's important tonight as you play one of the best teams in the league.
John, you in the start of the year, both you and a lot of the players were pretty open that Carter was stealing a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel he's been doing now? Do you think his play's dipped a lot? Or do you think it's more just like bounces going against him more so than
a little bit of both? I don't think he's at the level that he was at, but a little bit of both. I mean, Bronner's banged in a couple on us. He tipped one in the other night, and one hit him. I think that might have been on Sandy, I think, on one of them. A little bit of both. I don't think we're going to have Carter playing at a 945, 950 throughout a year. And he was a big part of us finding our way early in the year. But the thing I like about him, I said it to you guys all the time, I don't think it affects him. He just prepares. I really like the way he's handled himself. He's going to have to be good tonight. He's going to have to be good. He's going to have to be very good for us a lot this year as we're trying to find our way. These are times when you watch him grow too. It's something I need to see as we go through this. So I'm anxious to see how he reacts.
You said that the way you can create that work ethic and the mentality is to go through a test. I guess this has been the biggest test of the season so far. What are you seeing from the team, like in terms of response and building that mentality in the locker room?
Yeah, I'm not a big I'm not calling this a measurement game. I'm not a big guy that way as far as that. I look at it as, and I said it to you earlier this year, all these things run into one another for me. It's a game with a different team, different uniform, but it's watching our team play. I think our guys are loose. I don't think they've lost confidence. They come back twice against Columbus. Now, Boston Bruins aren't Columbus. It's a whole different type of story. But I think they've handled themselves well. And I don't think we have lost feeling good about ourselves. The start of tonight's game, I think, is very important for us. I really do. I don't want us to test the water. This team's going to probably try to come right at us, and they know where we've been, our record here of late. I'm anxious to see how we handle ourselves, and that's a big part of our meeting tonight.
On a little lighter note, you've got a lot of Boston guys. You are a Boston guy. Do you think this, playing in this building is kind of special since it's so many players and yours hometown team?
Yeah, I think it's more for the players. When I coach, I'm on another bench. Sometimes when the game starts, I'm not even sure where I'm just on the bench coaching. I used to enjoy coming here when the old Boston Garden was here. I think we've lost a little bit of those old buildings, the old Chicago Stadium, the old Boston Garden, stuff like that. It's more for players and their families. They're the entertainers. We're just trying to guide them and trying to do the best we can to find our way.
You mentioned, this was a few weeks ago when Noah Cates was not scoring, that you were still really happy with his play. Now that the offense is starting to come around for him, do you think his game has taken a step forward, or do you think, again, the bounces are just going in for him now?
No, I think the thing with Noah, and you talk about our goalie too, and Carter, he just stayed with it. He's staying with it. He's still doing the things away from the puck. Very smart player. And he just tried to stay with it. He didn't try to press, didn't cheat on the offense. I don't think he knows how to cheat because he's so sound away from the puck. So I just thought he stayed with it. And it's here's a kid that, what's he played, 30, 40 games in this league, I think. I'm pouring, 17, 18 minutes ice time he's averaging right now. It's a ton for him. And I worry about that, but it is what it is where we're at right now. But I think he's handled himself really well. And I watched him celebrate his goal. It's great. It's such a great learning ground for him as far as staying within yourself when it's not going for you offensively, but doing the other things you need to do. I think he's handled himself really well.
You briefly moved him to wing, I think in part try to open him back up, but it seems like the offenses came around now that he's back at center.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the move to wing, even though maybe it didn't have immediate dividends, do you think that did force him to open it up a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't asked him that. I just think when we talked about this before, Charlie, I think we have to develop him as a center. I don't want to lose too much time in developing as a center. You might ask him the question, did that help him? Just, because then you're not thinking as much, because the center ice position is such a thinking man's position. So you should ask him. It's a good question, but need to ask him. But in my mind, and in my conversations with Chuck, we need to develop him as a center, because we don't have something there. And I look forward to the progression and watching him go about it.
Even though he's young, is he a guy that you hope other guys in the locker room can learn from?
I think they do. The thing I like about him, he doesn't speak much. He's very quiet, very respectful. He's like a student. He takes it, and he's very coachable. He's a guy. As far as the young guys on our team, I'm sure some of the young guys look to him because he's kind of leading the way a little bit in the youth movement of our club. And I'm sure the veteran guys respect him too, as far as how he's handled himself.